It's been 4 weeks since Daniel Martell has seen his stepchildren. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing Friday, May 2nd, after they wandered out of their Pictou County home. They have...
So this is why we always have to be very careful. With the media or any source you may trust, we analyze statements. So we don't want to have any rumors and we don't want to have any quick decisions. So when a lot of these channels, they have people calling in, and I am not buying into any of it, right? If the grandmother said something for sure, and I'm 100%, it's a statement that was made by her, then please bring it my way. I am not going to listen to a long-winded anything, and eventually I will have maybe a rumor or a claim about a drug party and so on and so on. I want facts and statements. So if something is factual, please bring it my way. If it's 100%, of course I will look at it. Other than that, it is not my job to decipher whether or not something somebody uses to promote their channel, whether it's true or not. I don't have time to verify these things. And I don't care, because what's important are the statements from the people that we think may be in the know. Of course, it includes the grandmother, but I'm not going to buy into anybody's. There are less than a handful of channels I actually trust. So when people want to waste their time or kill time listening to something that maybe is or maybe isn't, I like entertainment and I like information. What I don't like is infotainment. I don't like information like the truth mixed with nonsense, lies, or fabrications. That I can't handle, because I am here to decipher it all. So when you're looking at this from mainstream media, and they determined on their own, these children wandered off, please be alert. As a statement analyst in the making, you will have to be able to take everything, examine, don't have a trusted source. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because a source can be trusted sometimes, who says that these kids wandered off? They didn't wander off. So always be very careful with these people. And imagine, there are so many people who haven't heard about the case yet. This is the first introduction that they get. And this is what's called conditioning. Before they hear the story, they are asked to accept that these children wandered off. And I don't know, I was told it's government-owned station. Maybe they didn't wander off. To make a long story short, they didn't wander off. Thank you.
Have not been found after weeks of extensive searching the heavily wooded area.
Every day when I wake up, it's just...
Okay, I'm gonna need CC. Every day when I wake up, it's just...
feels like I'm reliving a nightmare.
Reliving a nightmare. Okay, so what is the nightmare that you're reliving? When did you live it first? What was it?
May 2nd. But
of May 2nd. Not before that, right? He is always so adamant. Friday, that was the day. Anything before that? Was it maybe the night before that something happened? The children were seen May 1st, right? What about the night of May 1st? Did something already happen?
But the main feelings from sadness have just turned to anger because there's...
Sadness. Would you call it sadness if your children are missing? Sadness is something where you don't have any power anymore. You give up. You give in. You give in to something that's stronger than you. Otherwise, you would be fighting. You would be determined to go out there and find the children, and all of your energy would be there. Remember when Seth Rogers said, when you stop searching, that's when you lose hope. So, of course, there is sadness, but he doesn't say, I am sad. He said, I want my son. I want him. He needs to be with me. Sadness, grief, sorrow, those are coming in when there's finality. If they call you and say, we have found your children and they're no longer alive, that's when intense sadness will come in. But the hardest part with the missing child is the not knowing. And that's something I have been told again and again and again. Just recently, Dylan Ayers' father was on a live, and the not knowing is what tears him apart. When the news come and the horrible news come in that your children are no longer with you, that's a whole different story. Then you no longer have any power. It's over. And that's when the intense sadness and depression and all of this will come in. And of course, then it can turn into anger because you know somebody did that to your children. Until then, I would expect for you to have feelings of hope and intense worry, an emotional roller coaster. And it is very PTSD causing for sure, because it's these adrenaline rushes, and then it's a constant one. It is something that you don't, and I don't see that in the dude at all. And he talks too much about his feelings. You're supposed to feel the feelings of somebody in desperation, the way I felt it when I looked at Susan Smith's husband, trying to keep it together. When you had Seth Rogers on America's Most Wanted, the tone of voice, everything. He didn't have to tell anybody, I'm devastated, I am sad. But he wouldn't allow himself to be sad because he's clinging to hope. And again, it is the not knowing part that's just absolutely horrible. So, do you see that in his face? Imagine seeing this picture and somebody's asking you, for the first time, and somebody's saying, what do you think the guy is talking about? Would you guess missing children? Look at some of the other pictures. Susan Smith, press conference. Look at her husband. Look at his face. Look at his facial expression. You can feel, you can see it. And there is no such thing as a body language expert, by the way. There are people who have more intuition than others. And those people, even you don't need intuition for that. It just strikes you. You can sense people. We have the ability to do that. So you don't need somebody to teach you body language. And you don't need people telling you to ignore it either. But it is a guideline, as there are many guidelines, where we can say, okay, let me see what the statements of this dude are. And that was the first thing that happened when I first saw on Sweetie Pie Lowe's Twitter a video of Daniel speaking. And immediately I said, I want to know what the dude's talking about, because I saw how he's trying to push out some tears, fake crying, and immediately looking at the people who interview him for approval. And I missed the lip licking part even. But immediately I said, man, there's something. I need to listen to this guy. Look what a storyteller he is, just like Chris Proudfoot. And just like, especially Katie Proudfoot. Always talking about what your emotional state is. Seth Rogers said not one word about his emotional state, but you could feel it. when he was asked, "How are you doing?" he looks down and he's unable to speak about this, about his son. He's unable to speak about, because there are no words to express how he is feeling. And I'm pretty sure there are support groups of people who have lost children to different, something like this. And I'm sure they need very little language to explain to each other how they're feeling and how they were feeling. You get it or you don't. And I don't think that anybody can understand unless he or she has been through. But I know that this is not the face of somebody who is torn apart inside because his children are missing and he doesn't know what happened to them.
No evidence at all.
Oh my God. So listen to this. Sadness has just turned to anger, but he feels the need to explain this because there's no evidence at all. He is trying to hammer down to the public. There's no evidence at all. Same like Chris Proudfoot. There's no evidence whatsoever. Let it go. Stop. He is talking to the general public. He is talking to the people who, and I'm pretty sure in this area, everybody is like, they may not be like all the way where I am, but they say something is wrong here. Something is wrong with this picture, man. Something is very wrong. So he's sending out that message. There is no evidence at all. You have to leave me the hell alone. That's what he's trying to get at.
As of after 1 month.
After 1 month. You look for evidence when you know your child is no longer alive and you have a suspect. That's when you look for evidence. You look for leads, you look for information, you look for anything, and it doesn't have to be evidence. If somebody says, "I saw your children 2 miles from here," you don't say, "Well, do you have evidence? I want to see some pictures first." Similar to the Sebastian Rogers case where they said, if you see him, don't approach him. Just take a picture of him and then call the police. And what, let him go? These are people who know what happened to the children. And they know, in my opinion, they are beyond being helped. They can no longer be helped because in these cases, it's either they are somewhere safe and they know where they are, or they are dead. And his language indicated that something really bad happened to Jack. After 1 month. How much more do you need? When you guys gonna stop? That's his message right here. After 1 month, there is no evidence, dudes. So please, let things get back to normal. I think that's exactly the message he's trying to send.
And it's really taken a toll.
On Friday.
Wow, it's really taken a toll. Oh my gosh, really? Your children are missing and it's really taken a toll. Let me see the exact wording. It's really taken a toll. Okay. Damn.
On Friday, RCMP say ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area this weekend, focusing on a nearby pipeline trail where a boot print was previously located.
I know that they're working hard and they're using every resource they have. And
how about, I hope they will find something now. He's patronizing them. He's not thinking about the goal. He's not thinking about, wow, man, let's pray, let's hope that they're going to find the kids, find anything. I want to know. It tears me apart not knowing what happened to Jack and Lily. No, he said, they're working hard and they're using he's praising them. For what? For their efforts? You're not supposed to do that, man. When Seth Rogers was asked, how do you feel about the job law enforcement is doing? He was silent and then he said, my son is not here. That's powerful. Not this blah, 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 blah. Well, I want to thank you all for your hard work and you know, this is like a politician. This is what I expect from a spokesperson for the RCMP. Because it's their job and they are, of course, some are more passionate than others about the work that they do, but overall it's a job and they deal with these things all of the time. They don't have that emotional connection. These kids haven't lived with them for 3 years, but not from him. You're not supposed to praise them. Please, guys, focus until you get answers. We need the children. I need them back. There is no sense of urgency here. It's all about the hard work. It's all about his searching, all about the process, but nothing about the goal that we expected to hear about. And?
It makes me hopeful because
Okay. What exactly makes you hopeful? The fact that they worked so hard, they have spent so many resources, and they couldn't find out what actually happened? I believe that you're hopeful, but what is the hope about? And he feels the need now to tell us because
that's all we have at this point is this hope.
A vigil.
hope in what? Nothing so far that he said about Jack and Lily. He's talking about hope. But he doesn't mention them anymore. He doesn't say hope that they still might be, that we get some answers or they might be alive. Absolutely none of it. And that would be the only thing he should be concerned about.
Of flowers and stuffed animals has grown in recent weeks outside the RCMP station in nearby Stellarton. Since May 2nd, when Lily and Jack went missing, people here in Pictou County are still struggling to understand what happened and why there are still no answers.
Every day, almost, I go by the RCMP, and it's just so tragic. Just so tragic.
Yeah, and when you have interviews with people, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So you can often tell a general outlook on life that people have. And some people are just very hopeful people, and other people, they call it a tragedy already. But, you know, it's often based on life experiences where it's easy for people who are not related to these kids. It's much easier to say, you know what, I gave up hope. And I've seen this a lot of times, and I don't think they're alive anymore. You know, but a parent is supposed to cling on to hope until the bitter end. Unlike Malaya, who said, "As a mother, you always think the worst." No, you don't. As a mother, you always cling on to hope.
I just feel so bad for their whole family.
Their whole family, including Malaya and Daniel.
I'm hoping that they find them.
This is quite a waste of time.
It just doesn't look good, but I hope I'm wrong.
I like him. That's a realistic person. Doesn't look good, but I hope I'm wrong. Yep, I agree with you, dude. Hasn't called it a tragedy yet, but has definitely his thoughts.
The warden of Pictou County says many people are on edge and children are worried about playing outside.
I think it's mostly a mood of anxiety, maybe, and frustration.
He's a warden? What is a warden in Canada? Is it like I know not a prison warden, right? He's like a city councilman or something, or mayor of a town, something like that, or a small town. I don't know.
They too can't believe that there's not an answer by this long and this many people looking.
The RCMP have confirmed Lily and Jack were seen on camera with family the day before they went missing. Police are asking anyone who was on Gairloch Road between April 28th and May 2nd to share their dash cam or other footage with RCMP. Martell says every detail helps and could lead to finding Lily and Jack.
How many can you keep fighting for?
I'm going to keep fighting for
The rest of my life to find these kids.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for Lily and Jack. Listen to this. I want it all on the screen, people. I'm going to keep fighting.
For the rest of my life to find these.
I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of my life to find these kids. He doesn't want to use their names anymore. He doesn't want to think about what actually happened. He will be fighting for the rest of his life. It means that he knows these children will. He's not expecting these kids to ever be found. He expects absolutely no results. And that indicates guilty knowledge. And that was the case with, I believe, Katie Proudfoot said it. Who else? O.J. Simpson said it, the real killers. He will try to, for the rest of his life. I think the Ramseys and a couple other people also. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to keep fighting for the rest of your life, dude. You're supposed to have a goal. I'm gonna find them. I will do anything in my power to find them. But you're telling us you're never going to find them. You will search forever. You will fight forever. And fighting may be what he's going through right now. He's fighting for his reputation. Because people realize something ain't right. You're holding something back.
These kids. That's the only goal I have at this point.
Okay, now before he said that's the main goal. And he says at this point. So when is that going to change? That's the only goal I have at this point. Okay. Daniel indicates guilty knowledge. This last sentence in itself already tells me that he knows what happened and he doesn't expect these children to be found. He could be right, he could be wrong. I think there will be answers, but who knows? The bottom line is that he indicates he doesn't want them to be found and he's ready to fight for the rest of his life for his reputation. So this particular article is from the same interview. And what wasn't said in the TV interview, what they didn't air, Martell also addressed rumors there was a party at the home before the children went missing. A drug party, a so-called drug party, right? He says there was no drug party. And then he says the day before the disappearance. What would have been a better answer? There was no drug party. We didn't have a drug party. Or we don't have drug parties, maybe. But he says the day before the disappearance. So my question is, when exactly was the disappearance? When was the day of the disappearance? Was it Friday? Was it the early morning hours? Or did something already take place Thursday afternoon, or in the evening, or towards the night? So which day would we be talking about? This, again, the question when you hear there was no drug party the day before he qualifies it the day before the disappearance. So when did you have your drug party? That would be an appropriate question. And when exactly was the disappearance? So the rumor was Wednesday, right? Or Thursday, I don't know. But this is very curious.